Hi everyone, this is Coralie D. I am a wild swimmer, a swimming coach, a cyclist, and I am part of the Seashell team. So today I'm going to be taking you through some of the things that we can take with us when we do our cold water immersions. So this is probably one of the most popular questions that we get asked. What do I need to take with me when I go to the water? So again, it totally depends on what you're doing. If you're going to be going out to the sea, it's going to be very different to going into a barrel potentially. Then also the same with if you go into a river or a loch, it all totally depends. It also depends on you as an individual and what you are trying to do with the water. If you're going to be doing a dip in your barrel, for example, like I've got one in the back garden, all you pretty much need is a bikini or a swimming costume. You don't need to wear a wetsuit. Ideally, you're going in to really get the benefits of the cold water. So just wearing something small. You don't even have to wear anything if you don't want to. It's your house. But I usually wear a bikini or a swimming costume. Now, before I head in, I usually have my seashell robe on. It keeps me nice and warm before I go in, and I also put it on when I come out, or I put my toweling robe on. Now, I usually wear my beanie when I'm in with my bikini, as it keeps the warmth escaping from my head, so I can actually keep my body in for a little bit longer. I usually take it off just before I go and put my head underneath, but that's pretty much all you need. I like to also wear flip-flops on my feet because I just like having something on my feet so it's easier to then walk to the shower, but again, it's not a necessity. So when it comes to pretty much everything else, which is swimming in a loch, swimming in a river, swimming in the sea, I like to be prepared. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. So the idea is that you want to bring as many things as you can to make sure that if something happens, you are prepared for that. First of all, I have my dry bag. It means that if it's pouring down with rain, nothing's gonna get in here. It's really important that you want to keep your dry clothes dry, and you can keep your wet clothes wet. But if you've got dry clothes in here, you want to make sure they stay dry. The last thing you want to do is come out from being in the water and all your stuff is soaking. Believe me, I've been there. It's got nice straps in the back you can then put over across here so you can kind of hike up as well. I take this up mountains with me. It's got pockets here for your flasks or your water, whatever you want to take with you. It's then got a couple of pockets inside if you want to use it for commuting, which I've also done as well. So this is the first item, dry bag. I'm usually wearing a lot of cozy clothes before I head into the water, but I always make sure I take extra clothing. Now, what I take is an extra beanie, because sometimes I go in for a dip and I keep wearing my beanie. If it's really wavy, your beanie's probably going to get wet. I will take extra trousers. Well, these are actually kind of salopettes. They're the fluffy lined ones that you'd put underneath your salopettes. Now, I love wearing these because they're super, super warm, super cozy, and they're really easy to get into. So I will put them at the bottom of my bag just in case. Now, I will probably be wearing joggers to go to the cold water anyway, so they would be the clothes I put on first, but these are going to the bottom of my bag just in case. I then also take a really cozy hoodie, jumper, fleece type thing that also goes in my bag. So I've had this for a few years now. It is a dry bag / tow float. So the idea with this is that you can put your clothes in here, you can put keys, phones, whatever inside of here. You stuff it in. I'm gonna actually show you like so. You roll it down, you tie the top with a clip here, and then what you do is you take this off here and then you blow it all the way up. So if you're going from A to B and then needing to walk somewhere, then you can take it and you put it around your waist. You tighten it up, it then trails up behind you. Now, a lot of people might think, oh, well, I don't need any extra stuff. I don't need to take anything with me. I'm just going for a swim, which is fine. But the main thing about this is that you are wearing it to be seen. It's amazing how little you can see when you're in the water and how others who may be on the sideline cannot see you, especially if there's waves. You will get lost very easily. If you're also in a loch where people are using boats, this is really important so that they can see you. If you can, get one of these. It doesn't have to be as big as this. You can get smaller ones that aren't necessarily dry bags to put clothes in. But a dry bag means you can go up for an adventure, just put your clothes in and then swim wherever you need to go and then head on your journey. So these are really, really important. This tow float is going to go in my bag. Now, I don't use this necessarily if I'm just going in for a dip, but I put it in my bag just in case I decide that I want to go for a longer swim. So the next thing is all to do with feet. Now, I tend to find that my feet and my hands get really, really cold. That's like the number one thing that I tend to lose when I'm in cold water. Quite often when I'm going just to dip, I will actually wear shoes if it's into the river or into the sea, and I cannot be bothered with cutting my feet on the rocks or being so cold that I don't feel what's underneath. I like to wear shoes. It's easier to go in, it's easy to go out. Not all the time, but most of the time. So I have an old pair of Vivo shoes, totally worn out, as you can see. I've had these for years and years and years now. I've got lock laces on them, so they're easy to get on, easy to get out. These are, you can kind of hear, full of sand still. So I wear these into the water and out. If I'm wanting to go for a swim, I don't wear them because I feel like I can't properly swim. I like to be able to feel my feet. But if I'm going in for a dip, I will always take these. Next thing, socks. I always bring an extra pair of socks when you get out of the water. For me, it's like, right, dry my feet first. Like, first things first, dry my feet, put these on, try and get my feet warm, my head warm. I put my beanie on, make sure that's on, and put gloves on, which I have right here. So I'm trying to get my extremities warm, and then I can see if I can try and change everything else as well. So these are going in my bag. So next thing is drink and food. I will always try and take something warm in a flask. This can actually be used for cold water in the summer if you want it to cool down, but this is fantastic for putting hot water in. I usually have some sort of herbal tea, but you can take whatever you want. So this is really good post swim, or even before, but mainly post swim, so that you can have a drink and try and warm up from the inside out. Really helps me warm up. So this is going in the bag. The bag is starting to get a bit heavier now. I'm going to put it in this side pocket here. When it comes to food, everyone's different. Some people like to take cakes or fruit or whatever they want to do. I like to take a safety bag of nuts and fruit. Now, if it's really cold outside, you tend to find that other fruits and some potentially other things will freeze, whereas these don't tend to freeze when it's really cold out. We've got some sugar, natural sugar in there with the raisins, and we've got some protein and fat, I guess. It's just a mixture of everything. Just chuck them in there and it should hopefully give you a little bit of energy boost and just get you fueled. I usually have other stuff in my car, but this is just in case, so in my bag. So safety wise, I like to take a torch with me in my bag just in case. There's been times where I have gone out swimming and it's gotten really, really dark really quickly. So it's good to have a torch just in case you need to be able to see where you're going. Now, if you're planning to swim or do dips when it's dark, you can also get lights that attach to your cap or attach to your tow float. So you can have a look online, they're pretty cheap to get. It's not necessarily to see, again, it's more to be seen by others so you can stay as a group. Having a torch for dry land is also a really good idea. I also like to bring a little whistle with me just in case. That usually comes in my dry bag with me when I'm out swimming. Again, sometimes it's really hard to be seen. Sometimes it's easier to be heard. So if you have a whistle, it makes it a little bit easier for people to hopefully hear you. Again, this is ideally never going to happen and you're never going to have to use it. But if it's there, just in case, you have a better chance of being okay. So these are gonna go in my bag. So this is something that maybe some people don't necessarily like and they wanna leave their phones at home, but I will always take my phone with me wherever I'm going. I also have a little waterproof pouch. I can't find it at the moment, but I have a pouch that I put in my phone in, I put in my dry bag when I'm doing my longer adventures, because you never know what could happen. But it just means I can take it out and use it if I need to for emergencies. Always make sure to take some of communication, and always tell people if you're going to be going out swimming. Ideally you're with a group or one or two other people, but sometimes if you want to go by yourself, tell people, take a phone, take a whistle, take a torch, take these things so that you can be as safe as you can. So this phone is going in my bag. Okay, so what to wear? We've kind of looked at the dry stuff, the stuff that you would take for pre and post swim. So now we're going to look at what you would wear going into the water. Now, again, you could just wear a bikini. If you're going in for a dip or you're going for a swim, you might just want to wear these, especially in the summertime when it gets really warm. Or if you decide you want to go for the real cold water, just wear a bikini. It's the same thing with a swimming costume. It's whatever you are most comfortable in, but you need to know your limits. So swimming costume or bikini, whatever you're most comfortable with. Bikini's going in. When it gets to really cold water, I tend to wear my swimming costume, but then I also have this vest that I wear on top of my swimming costume. So you could just wear this. Now, for extra warmth, you then put your wetsuit on top of your swimming costume, your vest, and then there's your wetsuit. Now, I've done a blog about the wetsuits that are best for you, so you can go and have a look online about which wetsuit would fit you or which one would be better for what you're doing. I would also wear wetsuit boots, and I'd also wear wetsuit gloves. I can't find mine at the moment. Now for your head, you're gonna want to wear a skull cap, which is just a neoprene cap. This would then go underneath the swimming cap that you're gonna wear, which would just be a normal silicone cap, but this just gives a little bit more extra warmth, usually for your cold, like really cold water. Now there may be people even in summertime that want to wear this, especially if you're going to go for a long swim. So we've got swimming costume, vest, wetsuit, booties, gloves. You've got your skull cap, you've got your normal cap, and then you have goggles. Okay, so these are the things ideally that you'd use for going on a wild cold water swim. The goggles that you want to use are ideally wider lensed, more open water swimming goggles. You can get kind of speed sockets that you'd wear for indoor swimming. They're okay, but they're going to be pushing into your eye sockets for a lot longer and be a lot more uncomfortable. You want something that's a little bit bigger on the eyes. Even if you feel like you look like an idiot, who cares? Because nobody's going to see you in the water. It's all about how you feel. So ideally these ones are really good. You can get clear ones like these, you can get mirrored, you get ones that are aphotic. So it allows you to be able to swim and the sun's not going to glare through into your eyes. So this is what we're going to take for our swimming. Now, what I always usually do is take a plastic bag. So once you've been in the water, this stuff is probably going to be all wet. If you have some dry stuff in your dry bag that you don't want to get wet, ideally you have a bag, but if you want to be proper bulletproof, you have another dry bag. Just a thin one that you can put all of your stuff in when it's wet, that's going to stop your dry stuff getting wet. It means you can then take that out when you get home, wash it down, hang it up, and it's not going to be an issue. So this stuff's going to go in the bag, and then it's going to go in the dry bag. We're almost there. So after we have come out of the water, let's say we're still wearing all of our wetsuit stuff. Ideally what you want to do is you want to have a tiling robe that you can pop on nice and quick. I've hopefully put your beanie on already. You've ideally, see this towel here? You've put it on the ground, boom. Your feet are getting nice and dry, and that's you then ready to start taking off all your wet gear and then being able to put your dry gear on. Now if you're super cold, you can also put this on at the same time. Again, it's big enough that you can have both on. You can take both your arms in and you can start undressing here. So ideally, this is what we're going to be wearing to undress out of our wet stuff, and then you can keep it on and it will keep you warm as you have your dry stuff on underneath. This is a great windbreaker, waterproof. This is nice and soft on the outside, but it also dries you on the inside. Another tip is that when you're swimming, especially in a loch, where you're surrounded by trees, what you can see when you're sighting changes when you're in the water. So when you're looking out there, you can see things very easily. You can see there's boats, you can see there's a hut, you can see there's a line in the mountains behind you type of thing. But when you're in the water, that all becomes the same. So I would strongly recommend taking a bright coloured towel like this, or a jacket, something that hopefully doesn't matter too much if it gets wet. It could be a bag or something like that. Or you'd bring two towels, one for drying your feet on and one for being seen. So the idea is that you can then put this over a rock or something so that you know exactly where your things are. So when you're swimming, you can look up and see the blue or the pink or whatever colour you want to take for a towel, and that's where your sighting is going to be. Be aware that it might be windy, so you probably are going to want to put some rocks down to hold it down. This is a fantastic way of being able to see where you need to get to on the way back from your swim. So now you have managed to get back. Okay, you've managed to take your wetsuit off, you've managed to get your dry clothes on underneath, you're nice and cozy, you're wearing your robe, you're drinking your lovely hot beverage from your flask. Everyone knows that you're okay. I would always make sure I have a hot water bottle as well, so that if you're standing chatting to friends, or you're eating the food that you've brought, or you're even sitting in the car, you can pop this in one of the pockets here. And you've got it there nice and cozy, so it can keep you nice and warm. You can get other small ones too, but this one is perfect for this little pocket here, and it keeps you nice and warm. At the end of the day, you do not need really any kit at all to be able to go and enjoy open water swimming, dipping, whatever you do with cold water immersions. But sometimes having the kit actually makes things a little bit easier so that you can concentrate on the task or the exploring that you're doing. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has helped. If you have any questions at all, just leave them in the comments below or contact me through Seashell or my own personal page. Hope you enjoy your cold water immersions and we'll see you soon. Bye!